Hey, welcome back to Corporate Classy, but please come correct podcast. I am your host, Alberta Thomas, and we're back again. First, before we even dive into what the topic is this week, I have to first give a huge shout out to my amazing life coach, Rachel, for being on last week episode. And as I stated in that episode, y'all, it was a Nova show. I was like, I am not taking my baby out of this episode because we work when life is going. And she's a mom, an amazing mom. And Nova wanted to talk. She said Nova had things that she had to say. So, no, but no, on a serious note, shout out to my girl Rachel, who is amazing. We've been friends now for what, 5 years maybe? And including she's my life coach and helped me navigate some of the tough things that's always going on in my mind. So, shout out to Rachel again for being that person that I can talk to and help me navigate where there is no judgment and there is always a safe place. So, shout out to my amazing friend and life coach as well. And so, we talked a lot about on our last episode about love after heartbreak, right? And that healing process and what that looks like for us or some. So, we wanted to be able to share that because we experienced those things. It's crazy around the same time, but different situations. So being able to share that with the world or whoever tunes in and listen, is an amazing thing when you're that comfortable and that vulnerable to talk about those things. And we're going to continue to have those conversations. So as you know, I'm always on my podcast talking about the positive stuff, right? But I also bring the reality into some of those things that I talk about because a lot of times when you look at social media or if you encounter relationships, there are so many things that happen, so many things that go on just in life on a day to day. And it's always the back and forth, is never any coming together or things like that. So today I really wanted to deep dive in manifesting healthy relationships, whether they are friendships or you are maintaining a relationship with your spouse, your partner, whatever that may be. It's important to understand that what you feed yourself, as far as thoughts and feelings, is what you're really going to get out of the relationships that you put in. And so I first want to open it up by saying that, having healthy relationships are so important just to the overall well-being of your life, because I hate to say, like, no one wants to be in this lifetime and don't have any friends, right? Or don't have a partner or someone that they're with. No one wants to be able to experience that or want to deem that to be, how it's supposed to be for the rest of their lives. So being able to navigate the different relationships that you have and to also manifest what type of relationships that you want to have. Like, what are you looking for in a friend? What are your expectations as a friend, right? What are you looking for in a relationship with someone else, your partner? Like, what are the things that you're wanting out of it? What are some things you can actually bring to the table? What do you see the future holding? Like, what is the purpose? Right? It has to be some type of purpose or something that matters where you want that relationship to continue and to maintain. But I also think it's important to speak nothing but goodness over the relationships that you do build, right? And I think the only way you're gonna be able to kinda test out those things is if, you're open to meeting people, different people, people that's probably not like you, and see how that goes. But I also think it's important to understand that in relationships that you have to have a understanding of what it is that you guys are wanting out of each other, right? So, with that being said, I want to kind of talk about how, for me, when we talk about relationships, and I'm just generalizing that statement, right? I know how well I treat myself as a person, right? Individually, how do I treat myself? How do I feel? Um, do I stay on the right side all the time? Am I always looking for ways to build positivity? Like, what do my space look like? And that's kind of that's where I start in relationships. Now, mind you, my friendships that I've had them for years, like forever. So, the relationships that I do have, w- I want my friends or my partner to feel the love and the care that I give to myself. And so the space that I create is always peaceful, it's calm, and it's cool for the most part, right? Now, I'm not perfect because I will pop off too, but for the most part, my space is very warm, opening, cool, relaxing, and very peaceful. And that is the energy that I want to make sure I always give off, right? But I also understand that, as long as I'm able to create spaces like that for myself and give people that same type of want and need just as I give myself, that I'm able to attract good people, and good people and good relationships and good friendships are very much needed in this world. I'm just going to be honest. There is no way I could walk around here and act as if I don't care about all the relationships that I build, that I have. They are important to me. And every relationship is different, but they all hold some type of value in my life. And that's one thing that I don't waste. Like, I'm not wasting my time on friendships or people that's no longer going to serve me any purpose. And it's not that I wouldn't care or I wouldn't support you as a person, but in that more intimate space for me, I have to make sure that space is filled with love, kindness, respect, and that I am manifesting those relationships and making sure that they're healthy, right? And so a lot of times when things are unhealthy, right? We call them red flags now. There are a lot of red flags, and it may be in front of you, whether it's from an emotional standpoint, whether it's from controlling behaviors, lack of mutual respect, not really listening. Don't want to have those tough conversation, always missing your feelings, uh, not valuing your opinions, and not just giving yourself or creating a space that you are feeling protected when you're talking or if you having a disagreement. And that's one thing for me I can say that it's important to make sure that I am 100% protecting myself, right? And a lot of times, at one point I used to confuse guarded with protection, and, guarded is, not letting someone in my space, right? Still having those walls up, giving a little. And the only way I'm going to give a little bit more is if you give me a little bit more. But when I think about protection, I think about, are you protecting me from an emotional standpoint? Are you really truly valuing what I'm saying? Are you setting aside your feelings to hear me? And if I have to feel as if I have to protect myself or I guess you would people some people would call it being defensive. That's because I'm not feeling protected. But on the flip side, that could also be because I am trying to prove a point of how I feel to you and for you to realize how I feel. But the reality is, we probably feel different and we process out things and feelings differently. So that could be a thing too, right? But not ignoring when they are red flags. I think that's a good thing to make sure that we don't ignore it because the crazy thing is we see it all. I don't care if you man, woman, we see it. We see it all. We see the red flags. We see when we know we can be getting more, or we know we can give more, or we know that there is something missing. Like we see it, but we always continue to ignore it and think it's going to get better. And how does that work? Somebody tell me how does that work, right? So I would tell you, one thing that my sister and I always talk about, and I gotta get my sister on the episode, too, because we have a lot of deep conversations. But one of the things that we always talk about is me, um, giving my all to something. Um, she knows that 100% I'm gonna if I'm in a relationship or if I formed a new friendship, I'm gonna give it my 100% all, right? Trust. I'm not gonna stalk you, but I'm gonna give it my all. I'm gonna be very intentional. I'm gonna, pour into you as much as you pour, into me. I'm gonna, correct it all, even when it gets rough, right? But the one thing she always tell me is, man, when see done, see done. Yeah, and that's right because I know when it's time for me to wrap something up. And I said this on a live. I did listen, off topic, y'all. I did my first live podcast on the gym. Oh my God, listen, Tammy is such an amazing person. But I did my first live podcast on there. And so that was super exciting. But yeah, I really do know when it's time to wrap something up. And I talked about that on the live podcast because a lot of times we can continue to pour and pour and pour and what is coming out of it, right? I'm not saying don't have patience. I'm not saying that everything has to come at once because it don't. And I personally had to learn like, see, everything is not going to come to order of which you want it to come. And it may not come in the times of when you want it to come. But you also have to make sure you're not being stupid. And that's probably a hard word but to say it that way, but that's true. Making sure we're not being stupid when we see things and it's right in front of our face. And so I would tell you for me, I've been really working on um my connection with myself spiritually and really listening to my intuition and really owning in on my inner thoughts, my inner feelings, and making sure that I am aware. And I'm letting people know I am aware that this is happening. And so I think that's the important thing, recognizing the red flags, making sure we're not just overlooking them like they're just gonna go away. If the person isn't working or if you are a part of the red flags, if you're not working on those red flags, like they're gonna always be there. So what's the point? And I think we all got red flags. We all got toxic traits, right? But the thing is, are we working to get better? Or are we sitting there saying, "Oh, this is how it's supposed to be. Oh, I'm gonna talk to you like this because oh, this is how it's supposed to be. Oh, I'm gonna say this like this. Oh, it's only because I'm in my feelings." Like, no, You're not going to say it like that because you're in your feelings. What are you going to do to change that? Because by you doing that, it makes me feel this way. And so being able to recognize those things, and I'm going to tell you, call people out on their stuff, I said stuff, right? Call people out on their shit, especially if it's right in front of your face. Now, I'm not saying go out here and do it disrespectfully, but do it in a way of grace, right? Because I know if we want to go a little bit deeper, when I talk about manifesting healthy relationships, it could be at work, it could be personal life, it could be anywhere. But just making sure that you're manifesting that things are good in there, and you're trying your best not to make up your own stories or make things negative. So it is important building relationships, good ones, and keeping them are important. And very much needed. Very much needed. So another thing that always stood out to me is understanding compatibility with friends and your partner. I'll tell you, as I continue to get older, I change so much. And I think I said this in one of my other episodes. I changed so freaking much. And I know it's a good thing, but I change. And when I change, sometimes I may not have the same people around me. And it's not that that's a bad thing. It's just that maybe you guys want separate things. Maybe that relationship is no longer, serving you any purpose. Maybe that person isn't supposed to be on that next level or in the next season with you. And that is not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing at all. What is bad is when you hold on to things like that that is no longer good for you. Because a lot of times we hold on to things being selfish. We hold on to people not wanting people to move on with their life when clearly the red flags are in front of you. We hold on to friendships and massage them whenever we want to. Clearly, you didn't want to hang out with homegirl yesterday. So like it really like it's that serious to me. Like don't hold on to people. Don't be in people's way when you know they're not operating in their full potential. And you know you can't operate with them at that level and give them that full potential. But also, again, people may think differently, right? In every friendship or relationship, you have to identify just as an individual of what it is that you want out of that friendship or what it is that you're trying to do with that friendship, right? So, do you guys have like shared values, like goals? Are they in alignment, right? Whether it's family, whether it's careers, spiritually, do you guys have the same long-term goals? Like, what are you working towards? like, like it has to be something to massage that friendship, that relationship. What are you working on? Or are we just sitting right here, fa la 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 la? And that's what my best friend always say. They're not doing anything, just walking around here, fa la 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 la. Oh my goodness. Um, oh my God. Talk about emotional compatibility. Man, like how do you communicate? Can you communicate what your needs are? Do you know what each other love languages are? Can you meet them? Like, it's so many different things. I didn't even know there was love languages for the workplace. I just learned about that a couple of weeks ago, which is another topic for another day, but it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Lifestyles, like what kind of lifestyle is it that you're going after? Is it finances, social lifestyle? Do you have relatable hobbies? Like, what is it? I saw this post one time And I can remember this quote very clear. And the quote said, I practice self care because I know the importance of loving myself. And just think about that for a moment. I practice self care because I know the importance of loving myself. That is really big. When you sit for a moment and think about it, that is really big. So it goes back to what I said in the beginning for sure. The way you treat yourself, whether that you going to bed smelling good, looking good, or maybe your thing is getting dressed every single day because it makes you feel good. Listen, let me tell you something. One thing about me is that if I don't have myself together, just as far as looking good, smelling good, hair done, got some lip gloss on my lips, like the basic fundamental things, man, let me tell you something. I feel off. So that is a part of my personal self-care is that when I feel good, when I look good, I know I am good. I am good. It's nothing more satisfying to me than me getting up, getting ready, got my music playing in the background, and getting my day started in a good space, in a upbeat space, and taking care of myself, right? And I always tell people like for me because I am a homebody, it's crazy because I say that, but I'm always gone. But I used to be very, very homebody. So my home has to have that same peaceful, soothing space. So I can breathe, so I can feel good, so I can relax. And when all that is said and done, I guarantee you, anybody that you bring into your space is going to feel that same goodness and that same energy. It happens every time. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Anytime somebody come to my place, I kid you not, it's either they're coming in there wanting to sleep, relax, or it's for some odd reason they just went on chill mode. And it's insane. But people, it always happen like that. But that's because my space is clean. It's it's protected. It's covered. Is I want that space. I want you to come into that space and feel relaxed. That your mind is able to be at ease, right? And so when we talk about having healthy relationships, you also got to have a healthy relationship with yourself. Ooh. And that comes with time, that comes with work, that comes with patience, that comes with grace. But you also have to do all of those things to massage those other relationships you're working on or you've been in. And I think too, when you have healthy relationships, it's one of those things when things go left, you're gonna want to fight for it. You're gonna want to uh, step it up, I would say. And so if you don't fight for your relationships or step up, then they won't no longer be serving you any purpose, right? But also understand that everything is not going to be perfect. Everything is not going to be on time. And I think it's important to understand what is your deal breakers. Like what truly is your deal breakers in a relationship that's done, that's it. Like what are your deal breakers? And you have to be able to identify those things and make sure you're being real with yourself and that they make sense. And so it's one of those things where again, for me, I don't have a whole bunch of people in my space, but I am connected to so many people. Even if you're not my close niche friends, right? I am really big on even if we're just, business partners, or we connect at work, or whatever the case may be, in that moment that you connect with me, guess what? You're gonna get that same energy, that same manifestation, that this conversation, you're gonna leave it in a upbeat most spirit. Like, you're gonna leave it feeling great. That is always my ultimate goal. And so, because life is hard, right? Let's get the hard conversations out the way. But at the end of the day, you're gonna leave me, or when you walk away, you're gonna leave me, and you're gonna have that most upbeat spirit, and that is a beautiful thing to have. And so, make sure you kind of think about it, like analyze who's in your circle. Really truly analyze what you have in your circle. Is it beneficial? Is it going to help you get to the next level? Or is it going to keep you stagnant, flat, no growth, living life day to day? Like, and I'll tell you, and people will probably tell you, like, I live in this fantasy world in my mind. I'm living in that fantasy world that I want. That's going to be good for me, but I'm also going to live in reality at the same time, right? So it has to be like a healthy balance to that, because we all should have things that we want, how we want to grow, how we want to move forward, what's happening and what's going on in the present, how to handle this when stuff get hard. Like, we have to know these things. We can't just sit here and think like, oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay. You need to step up. You need to move out the way. Like, all of those things. And I don't take those things lightly at all. So, listen, I hope someone got something from this episode, because, again, manifest the relationships and the love that you want. But the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you're doing it for yourself first. Then you can pour into other people. And I'm not saying you can't do both at the same time, because you can. But at the same time, if you are drained and you have nothing else to give to someone or something, then you got to take a step back or halt for a second and recharge yourself, because it gets like that. So I hope you guys got something out of it. I am literally, this is why I love this mic. It's my favorite. I am literally chilling at 6 a.m. in the morning, recording an episode for my podcast, looking out the window of Portland, Oregon. There is no shenanigans going on at 6 a.m. That's new. Just a lot of people running lights. But I just want to say thank you guys for listening. It's always good to have people give me feedback, or have someone to throw my podcast to somebody else. Like, thank you. Thank you for taking time out to listen. Thank you for taking time out to be a part of my mission, my goal. I am so passionate about loving on yourself. I'm so passionate about making sure people understand that I have a story and I'm going to share it, and it's definitely very much different. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about where my life is headed. I'm excited about all the endless opportunities that I'm going to continue to have. I'm excited about the spaces that I have. I'm excited about the growth and where I've come from in just, I'm going to be honest, y'all, 6 months, a year. I'm excited to see what my future looks like. I'm excited to see what I'm able to bring to the table for my next ventures. So, again, manifest what you want. Speak positivity over what you want. And make sure at the end of the day, you cannot pour into others when you have nothing left to pour. So don't forget to follow all of my platforms. I am on Instagram. And y'all, me and Instagram got beef. I don't know what's going on, but we got beef. But follow me on Instagram at Corporate Classy Podcast or Bravo CC. They're all linked together. You'll see it. Facebook, follow me. My name is Alberta Thomas, of course. Follow me there. I have my own separate podcast page. So go on there. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions, to post things. Because I get a lot of DMs where people always ask me questions. Um, Follow me on TikTok. TikTok is my best friend. When I tell y'all they love me, TikTok is my best friend, and I love TikTok. So follow me there. I'm trying to get in the habit of YouTube. Listen, that's a whole nother ball field for me. And making sure everything is set up properly, like that's a challenge. But follow me there. Subscribe to my channels. Don't be afraid to tap in with me, listen in. If you want to be a part of my journey, and making sure you're in alignment of what my platform is, reach out. Like, I would love to have other people on to talk a little bit about different things that center around pivoting in life, how you work life and balance all of those things out together. So yeah. But guess what? Until next time, thank you for tuning in to Corporate Classy Podcast. But please come correct. Peace.